Okay, so chapter 11, the universal form. And before we start the class, please let us take the blessings of the beautiful deities of ISKCON Mangaluru, Sri Sri Radha Govind Ji. Sri Sri Radha Govind Ji ki Jai. Okay, so let's see the synopsis of chapter 11. So before we go, see in the last verse of chapter 10, what does Krishna say? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. So Krishna says, right, I'm present in the whole of the material world, in each and everything. So now Arjuna, he wishes to see that all pervasive form of the Lord. Like he wants to see how Krishna is present in everything in this material world. Okay, so he wanted to see that form. Okay, so although Krishna is driving Arjuna's chariot, he pervades and supports the entire universe. Okay, what does it mean? See, even though Krishna is present in front of Arjuna, he is still present throughout the whole universe. Okay, it does not mean that since Krishna is present before Arjuna, it does not mean that he's not there anywhere. Okay, even though he's present physically in front of Krishna, I mean in front of Arjuna, he's present everywhere through his energies. So he pervades and supports the entire universe. So Arjuna therefore wishes to see Krishna's all pervading form. So Arjuna requests Krishna to reveal his universal form. Okay. Okay, the first sloka. Arjuna uvacha mad anugrahaya paramam guhyam adhyatma samnitam yat Tvayoktam vachastena mohoyam vigato mama. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna said, I've heard your instructions on confidential spiritual matters, which you have so kindly delivered unto me, and my illusion is now dispelled. Okay, what is that illusion that is dispelled? So Arjuna, he begins by saying that my illusion has now been dispelled. So what is that illusion? Anybody? What is that illusion?
Of not fighting with the people, and he is having a doubt, no, Mataji, that should I fight or not. That illusion he has removed,
No. It is in a continuation with the previous chapter, Mataji. Not in generic, but with the continuation of the previous chapter.
Mataji,
Yes, Prabhuji?
Mataji, the delusion that he is only the body.
No, not exactly. Yeah, I'll try to, yeah. So earlier he saw Krishna mainly as he took Krishna as his cousin, friend, and his charioteer. Okay, but now after hearing all the confidential spiritual knowledge, he understands that Krishna is the supreme source of everything. So you all got it, I think, right? See, earlier, before understanding about, normally he took Krishna as Arjuna took Krishna as his friend, his charioteer, his cousin. But when he came to know about the confidential information, about the opulences, everything, then he changed his this thing mindset from being from Krishna being his cousin, friend, and charioteer to he understood now Krishna is like the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the supreme source of everything. So now that's what he's saying. Now, after hearing everything, my illusion is gone. Now I understood that you're just not my cousin or charioteer, you're the supreme source of everything. Okay, so here we see, right? How is the illusion dispelled now? Okay, this is not clear. One second. Okay, now you'll be able to understand much better. Okay, see, the first shloka, by hearing everything that Krishna has said, Arjuna's illusion is removed. What is that? We'll see by order. See, effect of hearing most confidential knowledge. What happens when you hear the most confidential knowledge? All illusion is dispelled, is removed. What is that? Krishna's supremacy overall is revealed. Okay, so earlier Arjuna was thinking that he is just my friend, the charioteer, and all that, right, cousin. But once he heard everything about the confidential knowledge, he came to the conclusion that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the supreme source of everything. So, chapter 11 reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. So, they talk about the universal form. So, they reveal Krishna is the cause of all causes of what? Of the material nature, of the living entities, of the demigods, and all incarnations. So, he is the cause of causes of all these things. Okay, and the material world comes from what? Mahavishnu, right? Mahavishnu, Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, and Shirodak Sai Vishnu. And how is this illusion dispelled? Arjuna recognizes that by the power of Krishna's grace, by which the illusion is dispelled. So, how is this illusion dispelled? Just by Krishna's mercy. Okay, anything in bhakti can happen just by the grace of Krishna or the mercy of Krishna and devotees and Guru. What illusion is dispelled? That Krishna is an ordinary friend or a human being. So earlier Arjuna was thinking he is just his friend, right? But now that illusion is dispelled and he understands that he is the cause of all causes. Okay. So then why did Arjuna request Krishna to show his universal form? So that will be discussed in 11.3. We'll see that then. Okay. Okay, now I'll close this and I'll go back to the normal thing. So 11.2. O Lotus Eyed One, I have heard from you in detail. Okay, I've heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity as realized through your inexhaustible glories. Okay, so now by this verse, Arjuna makes it clear that his illusion is gone. He accepts Krishna as the origin of everything. So he understands Krishna's transcendental position. He is no longer confused. Now he understood that Krishna is present everywhere in this cosmic manifestation. But now he felt what? So he understood everything right now but now what is this now he wants to see that form of Krishna. He understood Krishna is the cause of all causes, but now he's having a feeling like he wants to see that form of Krishna. Okay, so now let's see in 3. Oh, greatest of all, that's why he asked Krishna to show his universal form in Shloka 3. Oh, greatest of all personalities, oh, supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, means you are there as Krishna in front of me. That is your actual physical position. But yet, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Okay, so let's see, it is given here in the PPT. See, Arjuna expresses his desire to see the form which supports and pervades the entire universe. Okay, so he wants to see that universal form, like how Krishna is present in everything, in the entire universe. So why Arjuna requests Krishna to show this universal form? Actually, Arjuna knows that Krishna is the cause of all causes. He's the supreme personality of Godhead. Everything he knows. But why Arjuna requests Krishna to show his universal form is, see, one reason is to establish Krishna's divinity for all. Okay, to show that Krishna is not an ordinary person, like he is divine, right? He is, transcendental. Okay, so to show that Arjuna wants Krishna to show his universal form. And second is what? To convince others, although he does not have any personal desire and is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna. Second is like he's saying that to convince others. See, sometimes people they think, ordinary people think that Krishna is like a politician or a normal person, Pandava's friend or cousin. So they think he's just like an ordinary king or something like that. So just to show everybody that he's not an ordinary person. Okay, just to convince others. Right, actually for Arjuna, he is happy seeing Krishna in his two-handed Krishna form. Right, he is fully satisfied with that. But just he is asking that form so that others who think that Krishna is ordinary, normal person, to convince them, he is asking Krishna to show his universal form. That is the second thing. And third, to avoid imposters. He wants to set a criteria for in the future, there'll be so many imposters who will pose as incarnations. And third reason he's saying, see, in Kali Yuga, every street you go, they will say, I am Supreme Personality of Godhead, or I am an incarnation of God, I am an incarnation of Krishna. They say like that. So when people say that, we should ask them, show me your universal form. If you are really God, you're saying you're an incarnation of God, right? Show me your universal form, you should tell them. Like how Arjuna, when Arjuna asked Krishna, Krishna showed, because he's God, he showed the universal form. So like that is why Arjuna is asking Krishna to set a standard. See, when in the future in Kali Yuga, many people will say, I am God or incarnation of God. So when people say that, we should ask them, show your universal form. Okay, so that is why Arjuna is asking Krishna, show that form, right? So that in the future, if anybody says that I am God or an incarnation of God, we will ask them, you also, if you are saying you're God, right? Show, like how Krishna showed, you also show your universal form. Okay, for that reason, that is the third reason. If anybody says I'm God or an incarnation of God, we should immediately ask, show me your universal form to prove you're God or an incarnation of God. Okay, that is the third reason why Arjuna is asking Krishna to show. And fourth reason is Arjuna wants to substantiate Krishna's statement that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically but actually shows his form. So in the last chapter, he says theoretically, right, that I am present in my in everything as super soul. Theoretically, he said, but he wanted Krishna to prove that practically. Okay, he wanted everybody to see practically that Krishna is present in this whole universe. Okay, not only theoretically, but actually show his form. That's why he wanted Krishna to show his form. Practically, he wanted everybody to see, not just theoretically. Like he said in the last chapter, ending shloka, he says, I'm present, right, in everything. So he wanted, that's why he wanted Krishna to show his universal form. So these are the four reasons, okay?
Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji?
Mataji, which was the second one?
The second one is like you can see here, no, Prabhuji, to convince others, although he does not have personal desire and is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna, just to convince others, to let others know, because others think that Krishna is an ordinary person, right? So that others don't think he is an ordinary person. That is why Arjuna is asking Krishna to show his universal form. That is the second point. But Arjuna is satisfied seeing Krishna in his two-handed form. Okay, just to
Yes.
for others' sake, who think Krishna is ordinary, he wanted one of the reason is he wanted to Krishna to show the universal form. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to the fourth shloka.
Uh, Mataji,
Yeah.
is the second and the third point interlinked?
No, second is like, no, second is just when people think he's an ordinary person, that's why he's Arjuna is asking him to show. And third is like in the future for people like us in the Kali Yuga, to if anybody, because nowadays we see every street they say that I am God or an incarnation of God. Ordinary people say that. But so when they say that, we have to ask them the proof that show me your universal form. You're saying you're God, right? Then we can say that, see, Krishna showed the universal form. So you're also saying you're God, right? So you also prove that you're God. So show me your universal form. So for that sake, proving that, Arjuna is asking Krishna to show the universal form, so that in the future there'll be many imposters who will say that they're God, but they're actually not God. But if they really want to prove, we should ask them, show me your universal form. Okay, so that is one of the reasons why Arjuna is asking Krishna to show the form for imposters who are like fake people who say they are God, to so that we can prove them wrong by asking them to show the universal form. Okay, Prabhuji, that is the third point. Actually, it is not interlinked; it is totally different. Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So fourth shloka. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self. Okay, fourth I think is also given here. Okay. So Arjuna pleads and does not order to see Krishna's form. So Arjuna is requesting Krishna, he's pleading, he's requesting, and he's not ordering. Okay, so it shows his humble this thing, the quality that is required, right? So he is requesting Krishna, you can see, right? He's requesting Krishna to show and he's not ordering. So what are the qualifications to see the Lord's form? Only by revelation by the mercy of the Lord. So who can see Krishna? Who can see the Lord's form? Only if Krishna wishes. It's only by pure Krishna's mercy, only by the revelation, by mercy of the Lord. Okay? And not possible by mental speculation or perception by material senses. Okay, not by mental speculation means what? Jnana yoga, right? Where they speculate, right? It could be like that, it could be like that, right? And they merge into the impersonal Brahman and not the personal form of the Lord. Okay, so Lord is addressed here as Yogeshwara. So why Arjuna is declaring, why is Arjuna calling Krishna as Yogeshwara? Because he is the controller of all yoga, all mystic potency, right? If this vision is possible, I mean, like he's showing such an extraordinary form, right? So it shows that he's the Yoga Ishwara. Means he's the, what do you say? He's the supreme mystic, right? He's trying to show the whole the universal form in one place. sitting in one place. He's showing. So that's why Arjuna is calling Krishna as Yogeshwara. Means he's the controller of all yoga, all mystic potency. Okay. Okay, 11.5. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Pashya me Partha Rupani Shatashosta Sahasrashaha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varna Kritini Cha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied, divine, and multicolored forms. Okay, now they're showing what is the nature of the universal form. So the universal form is transcendental. Okay, and just know what is like the universal form, right? So the universal form is transcendental. Okay, it is manifested only for the cosmic situation. Only as long as this material world is there, this cosmic manifestation is there, it is there. So it is temporary, and it is not Krishna's eternal spiritual form in the spiritual world. So it does not exist in the spiritual world. It is only exists only in the material world, and that too it is temporary. Okay, so it just appears for a purpose. What is that purpose? To reveal his supremacy within the material universe. Just because Arjuna wanted to see that form, it was created at that time to show him, to show Arjuna. Right? It has just appeared for a purpose. That universal form was created for a purpose. Okay, to show Krishna's supremacy within the material universe. Okay, but and in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that pure devotees are not especially eager to see the universal form. Why? Anybody, why pure devotees are not interested in seeing the universal form?
Maybe, I'm sorry, Prabhuji, you can tell.
Mataji,
Yes.
I think because they are not interested in the universal form because pure devotees are mostly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord.
Why in devotional service of the Lord? What is the reason? What exactly, Prabhuji?
Mataji, because they uh, they want they want to always engage in Krishna consciousness.
Okay. Yeah, but it's not. It's like this, Prabhuji. See, because the devotees, they are more interested in worshipping Krishna's personal two-handed form, because they can have that loving exchange. They can have that loving relationship with Krishna. Okay, so that is why, right? That's what I was asking. What you said is right, Prabhuji. Devotional service, that is right. But even further, closer meaning, I was just expecting. So that why only Krishna? Why only devotional service in the sense? Because when you see Krishna in his two-handed form, you can have that loving relationship with the Lord, where you can have, give and take with Krishna. Okay, see, when you see the universal form, it is like it demands awe and respect. But when you see the personal form of Krishna, you reciprocate with love. Okay, so that is the reason pure devotees, they want to have that loving exchange with Krishna. They are not interested with this material universal form. Okay, and in the purport also, Prabhupada says that this universal form cannot be seen by ordinary eyes. So Krishna must grant the power to see it. So you cannot see it by your physical senses. It requires divine empowerment. So it can be seen only by Krishna's grace. Okay. Okay, 6. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of the Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. Okay, so now in this verse, Krishna continues revealing his universal form. Okay, he tells Arjuna to see to see within him the Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the Ashwini Kumaras, the Maruts, and many other demigods. So all divine powers are contained within his universal manifestation. Okay, so we should understand that all the demigods are within the universal manifestation. That means that they are within Krishna. So Krishna also says in this verse, he will see wonders never seen or heard before. He says, right, behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. He says in the translation. Okay, so even though Arjuna is highly learned and Krishna's intimate friend, he does not fully know the extent of Krishna's manifestation until Krishna reveals them. See, we all must be thinking that Arjuna is Krishna's close friend and he knows everything in and out about Krishna. But no, see, even Krishna, who is such a close friend and a pure devotee of Krishna, he did not know about the universal form until Krishna himself showed it to Arjuna. Okay, so that's what we have to understand. So only if Krishna wants to reveal, then only can we understand Krishna. Okay, otherwise we cannot understand. Even a person like a close friend like Arjuna, he's a cousin and is a close friend and a pure devotee. He didn't know about the universal form until Krishna revealed it to him. Okay, so he did not know about that form of Krishna, right? Until Krishna personally revealed to him. Okay, so all demigods and extraordinary cosmic powers exist within Krishna, and only by his grace can anybody see them. Okay, it's 11.7. Not clear. इहैकस्तं जगत्कृत्स्नं पश्याद्य सचराचरं मम देहे गुडाकेश यच्च अन्यद्द्रष्टुम् इच्छसि. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything moving and non moving is here completely in one place. So, in this verse, Krishna is telling Arjuna to see the entire universe, moving and non moving, all gathered in one place within that universal form, within that body. Okay, so what are they trying to say here is the whole creation exists within Krishna. So everything, past, present, and future, can be seen in his universal form. So whatever Arjuna wishes to see will be revealed in the universal form. Okay. See, normally no one can see the complete universal form from one position, right? See, because seeing the universal form is like, can we see the past, present, and future at in one body? We can't see, right? Now, see, now in our present body, we can just see. We don't even know what. At present, at that second itself, it's very difficult. We don't know what we'll be doing. And in the past, forget about that. It does not happen at the same time, right? We can't see everything. And in the future, what will happen? You can't see at one time. Right? That's what they're saying. Now, in this universal form, Arjuna will be able to see in that single body, universal form of the Lord. He'll be able to see past, present, future. He'll be able to see all the heavenly planets, the hellish planets, the earthly planets, everything he will be able to see in one body at a time. And this is not possible even for a scientist to see all. Can a scientist see all? I mean, like all the earthly planets, everything at one time? Even though you
No,
send, yeah, it's not possible. So you can't see all, even though you send out, I mean, like a rocket to space or something, you can see only one planet at a time sitting from the Earth. Maybe you can see the moon at the time, but you can't see all the planets, all the present, past, future, you can't see. So it is not possible even for a scientist to see everything at one time. Okay. So, but by Krishna's grace, Arjuna he got that he Arjuna was granted that divine vision. So he could see everything just by sitting in the chariot. He could see everything, the past, present, future, and he could see all the planets, everything he could see. Okay, so 11.8. Natu mam shakyase drashtum अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. So in this verse, Krishna tells Arjuna, see, you can't see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I will give you divine eyes to behold my mystic opulence. So here, the universal form cannot be seen with ordinary physical vision. Okay, so it requires divine perception, right? We need divine eyes to see them, right? So Krishna personally grants Arjuna the power to see his universal form. So he gives that special divine vision to Arjuna so that he can see the universal form. Okay, this is the same thing that is being told here. Okay. So 9. Sanjaya Uvacha. See, the universal form is so scary. You can see the teeth and hear everything, right? It's so scary. So Sanjaya Uvacha Evam Uktva Tato Rajan Mahayogeshwaro Harihi Darshayam Sa Parthaya Paramam Rupam Aishwaram. Sanjaya said, O king, speaking thus, the Supreme, the Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. So in this verse, Sanjaya tells King Dhritarashtra, after giving a divine vision, right, Krishna reveals his supreme universal form. So we should understand that this universal form is not an imagination. Okay, so it's a direct revelation granted by the Supreme Lord Himself. It is a fact. It is there. It is not imaginary. It is real, but it is temporary. Only meant for in the material world. Just to show Arjuna, it just had some specific purpose because Arjuna asked, Krishna revealed it. This is just like a form which exists only in the material world. It is not imaginary, but it is temporary. It does not exist in the spiritual world. Okay. The next 10 to 11. Anekavaktra nayanam, anekadbhuta darshanam, aneka divyabharanam, divyaneka नेकोद्यतायुधं दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरं दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनं सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवम् अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Arjuna saw in the universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes. So this is what Arjuna saw. Now, Krishna gave Arjuna the divine eyes, so he is able to see everything now. He is able to see the universal form, what he is able to see. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. These manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna could see them while sitting in one place. That was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna. So, all this Arjuna was able to see sitting in one place on the chariot. He could see everything. It's practically not possible for anybody to see, but because it is Krishna who's showing it, right? So anything is possible with the Lord. He can show anything, anywhere, anyhow, right? Okay, so Arjuna, he could see in the universal form unlimited mouths and unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful sights. He could see many divine ornaments, many celestial weapons, and divine garlands and garments, and fragrant spiritual scents. And he could see a blazing, radiant, all expanding form. It was so radiant and effulgent, that universal form. Okay, and he could see faces in every direction. So everywhere Arjuna, he looked at the universal form, he could find there is something more. So he could see more faces, more arms, more brilliance. So that's why the word many is repeated again and again. Okay, because the vision is so vast that counting becomes useless. See, he's saying like it's not like Arjuna is seeing 10 mouths or 1,000 eyes or 1 million forms. He's seeing limitlessness. That's why counting is of no use. It's not 10 or 1,000 or million. He's seeing limitless. There is no limit. Okay, so all these countless forms are spread throughout the universe. But by Krishna's inconceivable potency, Arjuna could see everything sitting in one place on the battlefield. Okay, so we should not think that this is imagination. Seeing the universal form is not imagination. It is a revelation by Krishna. Okay, because Arjuna asked Krishna, he is showing it. Right? So it is not imaginary, it is true, it is there. Okay, so we should not think it is imagination. 12. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapad Uttita Yadi Bhasadrushi Sa Syad Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapad Uttita Yadi. Oh, why is it repeated twice? Okay. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. So, Sanjaya is now trying to describe that brilliance of the universal form to Dhritarashtra. Right? He's saying that if thousands of suns were to rise in the sky at the same time, that count together might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Lord in that universal form. So, see, for us to see one sun itself is so difficult. So, imagine the universal form's effulgence is they're just Sanjay is trying to explain in earthly terms, like he's saying 1,000 suns put together. So imagine one sun, the brightness itself is so difficult for us to see. So if you put 1,000 suns together, that is the effulgence of the universal form. So how difficult would it be to see that effulgence? So just to explain it to Dhritarashtra, he's putting it in, he's comparing it to something earthly. That's why he's comparing the effulgence to, by taking the example of sun. He's saying thousands of sun. Maybe. He's just saying maybe, or it may be more also. He's saying, I'm just saying, and just to express thousand suns, he's saying. Okay, so if thousands of suns were to rise in the sky at the same time, that combined radiance might, he's saying, may resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. Okay. So actually, Sanjaya, he himself was not present physically on the battlefield. So, but by the grace of Vyasa, he could see everything, and he could narrate everything to Dhritarashtra. So even though he had that divine vision, he could see that effulgence of the universal form. Sanjaya could directly see, but he needed to express the effulgence or how that universal form is looking to Dhritarashtra, right? So he's comparing it in earthly terms, like that's we discussed, right? He's comparing it to the sun, and then he's saying it is so effulgent light, and he's telling Dhritarashtra that it is equal to at least thousands of suns when put together. That is the radiance of the universal form. Just to make Dhritarashtra understand that. Otherwise, it's not possible for Dhritarashtra to understand, right? So he has to communicate some way, right? So that's why. Okay, 13. Tatraikastam jagatkritsnam प्रविभक्तम् अनेकधा अपश्यद्देव देवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तथा. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe, situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Okay, so in this verse, Arjuna, describes what Arjuna actually sees inside the universal form. So while sitting on his chariot, Arjuna sees the entire universe, okay, with all its many divisions gathered together in one place within the body of the Supreme Lord. Okay, entire universe he is able to see just by sitting on that chariot. Okay, so actually he is able to see what is the main understanding is Arjuna was able to see the complete universe by sitting in one place. Actually, what though divided into many planets and systems, everything exists within Krishna. Okay, so all the planets, everything, the planetary systems or the planets, everything exists within Krishna. So only if you see among everybody, only Arjuna is the only person who is granted that vision to see the universal form. And remaining others on the battlefield, they could not see it. Okay. फोर्टीन् ततः स विस्मयाविष्टो हृष्टरोमा धनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवं कृताञ्जलिरभाषत. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Okay, so after seeing the universal form, Arjuna is overwhelmed. His hairs are standing on end. He's astonished. He bows down with his head and folds his hands and begins to pray. So, what has changed? Right, see, just a few moments ago, Krishna, Arjuna took Krishna as his friend and charioteer. Now, after Arjuna saw this infinite cosmic form or the universal form, his mood shifts from that friendly mood to reverence and wonder. Okay, so it's changed now from friendship to, after he saw the universal form, it has changed from friendship to reverence and wonder. See, he's not afraid of seeing the universal form. He's astonished. He's filled with wonder, like he's in spiritual ecstasy. Okay, see the main thing Prabhupada says in the purport is he tries to teach us that see, Lord is the notion of all relationships. We know there are 5 important relationships with Krishna, right? Friendship, like what is that? Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya means friendship, service, wonder, parental affection, devotion, all that. So everything, 5 kinds of relationships are there. So all relationships exist within Krishna. So here we are seeing that Arjuna, who took Krishna as his friend, now he becomes covered with awe and respect after seeing the universal form. Okay, so these are the rasas actually. See, Shanta rasa, Dasya rasa, we can't see. Sakya rasa, Madhuri rasa, and these are the secondary rasas, which is like Raudra, chivalry, pathetic feeling, anger, disaster. So these are the secondary feelings, okay? Secondary rasas. Okay, so these are the 5 primary rasas. Madhurya, Dasya, Sakya, and remaining are all the secondary rasas. Okay. So 15. पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेहे सर्वांस्तथा भूतविशेषसङ्घान् ब्राह्मणम् ईशं कमलासनस्थं ऋषींश्च सर्वान् उरगांश्च दिव्यान्. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. Okay, so now Arjuna he begins to describe what he sees within the universal form. So he says, O Lord, I see all the demigods within your body. I see all living beings. I see Lord Brahma sitting on the lotus. I see Lord Shiva. I see the great sages. And I see the divine serpents. Okay, so what this means, nothing is outside the Lord. So everybody is within the Lord. So what is Arjuna seeing? He's seeing all the demigods, all the different kinds of categories of living entities. He's seeing Brahma seated on the lotus. He's seeing Lord Shiva. He's seeing great sages and divine serpents like Vasuki. So, from the lowest regions to the highest planetary systems, everything exists within the Supreme. Okay, and Arjuna, he's seeing all this while sitting on the chariot. Okay, he's seeing in just that one body, he's seeing everything. Okay, so what is the main teaching here is like from Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu resting on the cosmic serpent in the lower regions, right? So that is the lower regions where Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is present. So from there up to the Brahma, the highest, Brahma on the lotus at the top of the universe, that is the highest heavenly planet, right? So Arjuna could see all the planets all gathered in one divine body. So to the lowest planet, to the highest planet, he could see everything in one divine body. Okay. See, though Krishna is present physically before him, see, he could still see the universal form. Everything in one body. He could see the present, past, future, and he could see all the planets from the higher to the lowest. Everything he could see. Right? He could see all the demigods, the great sages, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, everybody he could see in one place, just sitting in the chariot. Okay. Okay, 16. अनेक बाहूदर वक्त्रनेत्रं पश्यामि त्वां सर्वतो अनन्तरूपं नान्तं न मध्यं न पुनस्तवादिं पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूपा. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths and eyes, expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. So here Arjuna is saying, further he's explaining the universal form. He's saying that he sees many arms, many stomachs, many mouths, many eyes. So forms are expanding in all directions. So he cannot find, Arjuna is not able to find where is the beginning, where is the middle, where is the end. So, what does this mean? It means to show that the Lord is unlimited. Because Arjuna is not able to see where the beginning is, where the middle is, where he is ending. Okay, so he is limitless. The Lord is unlimited. Okay, so Arjuna is trying to describe something. He's trying to say that there is no boundary. See, normally when we look at something, we can look at what is the starting point or what is the ending point. So we can say where it starts and where it ends. But here, Arjuna, he cannot find the boundaries. Okay, wherever he looks, there is more. Like it's just extending. I mean, like he cannot just say where it is ending. See, if he looks forward, there is Krishna. If he looks upward, there is Krishna. If he looks in every direction, there is still Krishna. Upward, downward, sideward, rightward, leftward, wherever he see, he is just seeing the universal form. He is seeing Krishna everywhere. Okay, so what do we understand? See, because the Supreme is unlimited, everything exists within Him. Okay, so through Him, all things become visible. Okay, so the universal form is not simply very large. It's not just large, it is limitless, it is boundless. I mean, it has no limits. We can't say it's very large. It has no measurable limits at all. You can't measure it. See, large means you're able to measure. So you are not able to measure means it is limitless. It has no measurable limits at all. So Arjuna is seeing the unlimited nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you can't even count, right? You can't even say whether it's large, small, medium, nothing. Okay, you can't count. There is no measure. There is no limit to it. Okay. 17. किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रिणं च तेजो राशिं सर्वतो दीप्तिमन्तं पश्यामि त्वां दुर्निरीक्ष्यं समन्ताद् दीप्तानलार्कद्युतिम् अप्रमेयम्. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. So now Arjuna is still continuing to describe what he sees in the universal form. So he sees the Lord wearing crowns, holding clubs, holding discs. Okay, and he's shining with that powerful effulgence. Okay, so the brilliance is so powerful that it is very difficult to look at because the shining is so bright that Arjuna is not able to see exactly that personality of the see the universal form. The radiance is so much. Arjuna is saying, okay, it shines like the blazing fire and like the radiance of the sun. But still, because of Krishna's mercy, he is able to see, he is able to pass through that effulgence and he is able to see the universal form. That's why he is able to see that, see the universal form wearing crowns, clubs, discs, holding discs, and everything. Okay, because of Krishna's mercy, he is able to see. 19. Anadimadhyantam anantaviryam anantabahum shashisuryanetram pashyami tvam deeptahutashavakram swatejasa vishwam idam tapantam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and the moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. Okay, so Arjuna, what do you say? He's still further describing about the um, universal form. He says, "You have no beginning, no middle, no end. Your power and glory is unlimited. You have countless arms. The sun and moon are your eyes, right? And fire blazes from your mouths, and by your radiance, the entire universe is heated." Okay, so when he says that the sun and the moon are his eyes, it means that he sees everything. So nothing is hidden from him. So just like the sun and moon light up the world, his vision covers everybody. So nobody can hide anything from him. Just like how the sun and moon give light, they light up the world, his vision covers everything. Okay, when it says that fire comes from his mouth, we are saying, right, in the translation, fire comes from the mouth, means it does not mean like ordinary fire is coming from like the fire that is coming from a stove. So it means when it says that fire comes from the mouth, it means that he has very strong power. Okay, his power can change anything. He can create, protect, and also destroy when needed. Okay, and we see that every time they repeat this word. What Arjuna uses this, right? He says that the universal form, there is no beginning, no end, it's unlimited. He always keeps repeating this word, right? So why is he repeating so many times? See, this means that it does not show it as some weakness. So it just shows that Arjuna is amazed. Okay, when someone sees something beyond ordinary experience, what I mean, like they're in that amazement, right? So in that amazement, they try again and again to express the inexpressible by saying that, oh, there has no beginning, no end. So when we see something amazing, we just keep using the same words, right? So like that here, Arjuna, that's why in amazement, he's using these words like no beginning, no end, unlimited, such words again and again. Okay. And the again in when it says the whole universe is heated by his energy, what does it mean? See, the world works because of his power, by his own power. So everything runs because of his energy, and if he withdraws that energy, everything stops. So the whole universe is heated by his energy, means it is the whole world runs because of his power. Okay, everything runs because of his energy. But if he withdraws that energy, everything stops. Okay, so that is what it means. So let's go to 20. Dvau prithivyor idam antaram hi vyaptam त्वयैकेन दिशश्च सर्वाः दृष्ट्वाद्भुतं रूपम् उग्रं तवेदं लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मन्. Although you are one, you are spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great one, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. See, now Arjuna is saying, you alone, you are spread everywhere, from the sky above, from the top of the sky to the earth below, and in all directions, everything is filled by you. So even though you are one, you are everywhere. Okay, Arjuna is telling this. So he also says that when the three worlds see you, see this wonderful universal form and powerful form, they become disturbed and afraid. He's talking about the demons and the demigods, right? That's why he's saying three worlds. So when they see this universal form, they become disturbed and afraid, not because it is bad or but because it is overwhelming. So this universal form is both wonderful and terrible at the same time. Okay. 21. अमीहि त्वां सुरसङ्गा विशन्ति केचिद् भीताः प्राञ्जलयो गृह्णन्ति स्वस्तीति उक्त्वा महर्षिसिद्धसङ्गा स्तुवन्ति त्वां स्तुतिभिः पुष्कलाभिः. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying all peace are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. Okay, so in Arjuna, he's now describing how others are reacting when they see the universal form. So, what is he saying? Groups of demigods are entering into you. Okay, and how are others? Some are afraid because the form is so powerful and intense. Okay, that's why they are folding their hands and they're praying for protection. And great sages and some perfected beings are chanting hymns and they're saying, may there be peace. Okay, so all the powerful beings in the universe are seeing this form. So some are feeling afraid, and that's why they're offering their prayers. And others, they praise him, like the great sages, they praise him by singing sacred prayers and they're asking for peace. So, what does this show? Even the demigods and the great sages understand that this power is supreme. See, when they see the universal form, that is why even the demigods and the great sages, they surrender, they pray, they glorify. Okay, so the vision is so great that even very powerful beings, they feel very small, right? They feel very small before the Lord. 22. Rudraditya vasavo ye cha sadhya vishve ashvinau marutascha चोष्मपाश्च गन्धर्वयक्षासुर सिद्धसङ्गा वीक्षन्ते त्वां विस्मिताश्चैव सर्वे. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishwe Devas, the two Ashvis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. So here Arjuna lists many powerful beings who are watching the universal form in amazement. Okay, he says all of them are looking at the Lord in wonder. So, what does this show? The universal form is so great that even the demigods are surprised. See, even strong beings, they feel small before the Lord. Even demons are stunned. So, this vision, the universal power, that vision, which everybody is seeing, the universal form, is beyond ordinary power. Okay, the Supreme Lord is greater than all categories of beings. So, when His full power is revealed, everyone, even from the highest God to other celestial beings, they become amazed. Okay, seeing the universal form. Twenty-three. Rupam Mahatte Bahuvaptra Netram Mahabaho Bahurupadam Bahudaram Bahudamstra Karalam Drishtva Loka Pravyatitas O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. So now Arjuna, he further continues describing the universal form. He says, The universal form is very huge. You have many faces, eyes, many arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, many terrible teeth. So, seeing this, all the worlds are disturbed. So, everybody, the demigods, the demons, all are disturbed. And Arjuna, he says honestly that even I am also disturbed. Okay, so what does this show? See, earlier Arjuna was amazed. So now he's beginning to feel fear. Okay, he was initially when he saw the universal form, he was like amazed. He was astonished. But now that is changing slowly. He is beginning to feel fear. Okay, that amazement is changing to fear. So the universal form shows creation, protection, destruction, all at once. So it is showing everything at once. We talked, right? It is showing past, present, and future. So it is showing creation, protection, that is maintenance, and destruction all at once. So when someone sees all this at once, I mean, like everything is revealed. The unlimited power of the Lord is revealed all at once. We get scared. It makes the heart tremble with fear. That's what exactly happened with Arjuna. So he was seeing creation, the maintenance, and destruction all at once, present, past, future at once. So, because of which he could not take everything at once. 24. Nabha sprusham deeptam aneka varnam Vyatananam deepta vishalanetram drishtva hitvam pravyatitantar atma dhritim na vindami shamam cha Vishnu. O all pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. So now Arjuna, he is still looking at the universal form of the Lord and he's saying, you're so big that you reach the sky. You shine like many suns and fires. Your eyes are blazing. Your mouths are open and powerful. When I see this, I feel scared inside. And Arjuna is saying, I cannot keep my mind steady. So, what is happening here? See, we discussed in the previous shloka, right? So, now before this, Arjuna was amazed. Now, his vision changed, right? Right? And the Lord looks endless. The light is too powerful. The size is beyond imagination. The power feels overwhelming. So, Arjuna is not doubting is not doubting Krishna. He's simply like he's overwhelmed. Earlier he was amazed, right? Now he's come into fear. So he's overwhelmed. Okay. So what are they trying to say here? What is the main idea here is the universal form shows unlimited power. See, it is beautiful, but at the same time it is also terrifying. So Arjuna realizes this is not just my friend Krishna. This is the supreme lord of everything. Okay, and that realization shakes him deeply. So he loses his mental peace for a moment because he's seeing the full blazing reality of divine power. Right? It was very, see, someone who's very close to us, and then suddenly he changes to something big. It's very hard for us to accept that, right? So, like that, Arjuna also, it is too much, yeah, I mean, like, it is too difficult for him to hold all that. Right? He was thinking he's just my friend till now, and then suddenly he becomes a great politician. I mean, like in ordinary terms, also he was your friend, and now he becomes IAS. So it's you find it difficult to talk to him, or right, because you need an appointment to talk to him, even though he's your friend, right? So that relationship it changes like earlier. So it is the same with Arjuna. So now, earlier he was thinking Krishna is my friend, he's my charioteer, he's my cousin and everything. But when he saw the universal form, everything changed. Okay, so it was too much for him to take. 25. Damstra karalani च ते मुखानि दृष्ट्वैव कालानल सन्निभानि दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्मा प्रसीद devasha jagannivasa. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance. Seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth in all directions, I am bewildered. Okay, so now Arjuna, he continues speaking after seeing the universal form. He's saying, I see your terrible teeth, your mouths look frightening, they look like a great fire that destroys everything. I feel confused, I feel lost. He says, I cannot stay calm. Okay, so he's that's why he's saying, Oh Krishna, oh Lord of all lords, oh shelter of the universe, please be kind to me. Okay, so Arjuna is very afraid now. Before he was amazed. Okay, then he was disturbed. Now he is overwhelmed. He says, I do not know the directions. So, what does this mean? This means he feels mentally shaken and confused. Okay, and he's saying, I cannot find peace. That means his heart is restless. Okay, and the vision is showing destruction. Because he can see through the mouth, everybody is entering, right? So the vision is showing destruction. So it is showing time, it is showing death. So Arjuna realizes this is the power that ends all life. So now he is able to see destruction also, right? The future, what is going to happen, he's seeing everything. When people are entering into the mouth of the universal form of Krishna, so it means that they are going to die. So he's seeing what is happening in the future. So it was too much for him to take. So here, what is the main idea is the universal form shows that the Lord controls life, death, time, the end of all things. So Arjuna understands that. Now he comes to a conclusion that he's just not my friend. He's the supreme power behind everything. And that's why he humbly prays, please be merciful to me.
Mataji,
Yes, Prabhuji?
Mataji, the universal form shows time, death,
Yeah,
and
obviously. It is showing the future also, no, Prabhuji. Like when into the mouth, many living entities are entering, which shows that they are dying. So dying means what? Which is in the future. So time takes away. Say time represents what? Death, right? But time means what? It has a start and a end date,
and
right? Yeah. So Krishna is time. So time means what? Death. Because in the spiritual world, if you see, there is no effect of time over there. So time comes into effect only in the material world. So we have a start and an end date here. Okay, Prabhuji?
yes, and
Yeah.
Mataji, upon seeing the universal form of Lord Krishna, Arjun heart became restless.
Hmm. Yeah. Because till now he was thinking that Krishna is his friend. Now, suddenly seeing the universal form, everything, now he understood that is the supreme cause of all causes. He is, and then everything like it changed from amazement to disturbance, and from disturbed, he came to this overwhelmed. He became overwhelmed, and then from that, he became fearful. So that's why, out of respect, now he's praying with folded hands to Krishna.
Yes.
He's no longer thinking he's his friend. He's taking him as the supreme personality of Godhead, and that's why humbly he is asking for his mercy. He's praying with folded hands. Okay. So let's go to 26 and 27. So he is like practically what nobody is able to see, Arjuna is able to see. Like he's seeing the future, the people who are dying in effect of time. Time means what? It shows future, everything, past, present, future. Right? He is able to see what is happening in the future, what is happening in the past, everything, all planets, everything is able to see. That's why in that confusion, he's like, he's sometimes he's bewildered, he's fearful, he's overwhelmed. So like in spiritual ecstasy and all that, all mixed emotions are there in Arjuna. He's seeing such a big universal form where there's no end. It's limitless. It's not large. It is like limitless. Whichever direction you see, everything is continuing more and more and more. More eyes, more bodies, more legs, like that. So when somebody sees something abnormal, we also are puzzled and we also react in the same way like how Arjuna is reacting. Okay. So 26, 27. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers, also are rushing into your fearful mouths. And some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. See, now this is more, even more scary for Arjuna. See, Arjuna, he sees something more shocking. So he says to Krishna, all the sons of Dhritarashtra, right, great warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, along with many kings and soldiers, are rushing into the Lord's terrible mouths. Some are caught between his teeth and they are being destroyed. Right, this made Arjuna, he's seeing the future now. He's understanding that all the sons of Dhritarashtra will die. Bhishma will die, Drona will die, Karna will die, along with many of his of the kings and soldiers on Pandava's side also they will die. Okay, so he's seeing everything. Arjuna is seeing the future now. The Kaurava warriors will die. Even very powerful fighters, they'll be defeated. Not only enemies, but some from Arjuna's own side, they will also die. So all of them are entering into the Lord's blazing mouths. Okay. So Arjuna could see all this and he was surprised. He could see the future. He understood that. Now he will now slowly understand that it is like the plan of Krishna. Okay. So now he understood. Arjuna understands that their deaths are already decided by Krishna, right? Because he's seeing the future, right? Until now, he didn't see the future. When he saw that all the Kauravas were entering into the Kauravas, Dronacharya, Bhishma, Karna, everybody's entering into the mouth, he understood that and they're being crushed. So he understood that in the future, they will all be definitely killed. So he could understand that they will die for sure. Okay, so Arjuna, he understands that now the critical point is Arjuna, he understands that the battle is already decided, planned by Krishna. Okay, and the warriors there are not dying by chance. They are just moving according to the divine plan of Krishna. Okay, this battle of Kurukshetra itself is a plan of Krishna to bring all the bad people in one place and to finish them in one go. So this is Krishna's idea. See, earlier, like when he was small, he used to kill one demon at a time every day. So then Krishna, he decided how many days will I kill one demon every day. So I will bring all the demons in one place in the battle of Kurukshetra and I'll finish them once and for all. Okay, so this was actually the Kurukshetra was Krishna's plan to kill all the demons just in one go. So 28. Yata nadinam bahavo ambuvega samudram evabhimukha dravanti tata tavami naraloka vira vishanti vakrani abhivijwalanti. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter into the blazing mouths. So now Arjuna, he gives an example to explain what he's saying. He says, just like many rivers naturally flow towards the ocean. See, rivers merge in the ocean, right? So in the same way, all these great warriors are entering into your blazing mouths. Okay, what does this mean? So this verse shows that the warriors, they are not being dragged. They're rushing forward. I mean, they're moving with force, right? According to time and destiny, they are moving, they're rushing forward. So nobody cannot stop time and destiny. So they are just rushing. It's not like slowly we are dragging them. But time and destiny, everything happens very fast. How it has to happen. So what does this mean? All living beings must eventually move towards death, move towards their end. Okay, how like rivers move towards the ocean, our life moves towards death. So nobody can stop it. So even the greatest warriors or heroes, they cannot change this flow. I mean, they cannot stop themselves from death, right? That's what they're trying to say here. 29. Yata यथा प्रदीप्तं ज्वलनं पतंगा विशन्ति नाशया समृद्धवेगां तथैव नाशाय विशन्ति लोकास्तवापि वक्राणि समृद्धवेगाम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. Now Arjuna, he gives one more example. He says, just like moths rush into a blazing fire and they get destroyed. So in the same way, all people are rushing into your mouths. See, have anybody, have you seen small insects? They fly around a lamp at night, right? Generally, we see in the night. So they are attracted to light. But when they go too close, they get burned. So Arjuna is saying people are rushing towards your destruction. Destruction means their death, like that, into your mouth. They are not slowly walking, they are moving with full speed. Right? The destiny is decided. That's why they're moving with full speed according to time and destiny. Okay, so Arjuna realizes this destruction is already happening by the force of time. See, when time comes, nobody can stop death. See, not one breath more or one breath less. Everything happens per destiny, time and destiny, right? For a certain span of life, if you have 1 crore breaths, you will die exactly after your 1 crore breath is over. Not one less, one more, right? It happens, and you have to die. Okay, that is destiny. So Arjuna, he comes to that realization. He understands that destruction is already happening by the force of time. The warriors, actually the warriors over there, they think that they are fighting by their own power, but actually they are moving towards a destiny that is already arranged by Krishna. See, we all also think like that. We think that we are doing this, we are doing this, we are doing that, but actually we are all instruments in the hands of Krishna. Okay, so destiny is already arranged for us. Like how the warriors were thinking that we are fighting here, but actually their destiny is already arranged by Krishna. What should happen to them? 30. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence, you are manifest with terrible scorching rays. So now he sees, Krishna is saying that you're swallowing everyone from all sides, and your bright light fills the whole world. See, it's like this now. See, think of the sun. The sun shines everywhere. You can't hide the sun from its light during the day, right? So, like that, in the same way, Arjuna sees that God's power is everywhere. Okay? So, what about the blazing mouths? The mouths represent time. Okay, so time keeps moving. And when time passes, everything changes according to time, right? See, the flower which was blooming one time will fade after some time. People grow up and then grow old. So nothing stays forever. So when Arjuna sees people entering the Lord's mouths, it means everything in this world has an end one day. So that is time. right? It has a start and an end date. It is not always the same, it is changing. So everything in the world, Arjuna understood that when he saw everybody is entering into the mouth of that universal form, he could understand that everybody in this world has an end one day. Okay. So 31. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know. So this is the last shloka for today. So with this we'll stop. Okay. So here, after seeing the huge and powerful universal form, Arjuna, he feels overwhelmed. He says, please tell me who you are in this fierce form. I bow to you. Please be kind to me. I want to understand you. Okay, because I do not know what you're doing. Okay, so Arjuna is asking. See, Arjuna already knows that initially he knows the Lord as his friend, but now he sees something much bigger. See, he sees a form that looks powerful and serious. So that's why he becomes humble. He bows down. That's why he asks politely, please explain. I want to understand. But why does he ask? Out of confusion he is asking. See, sometimes we also, right, when we see something abnormal, we don't know what we are asking, what out in that confusion we don't know. So Arjuna also is in that confusion mode, right? He is when he sees this everything, I mean, like everybody entering into the mouth of the mouth and everybody is dying. See, he is also kind of surprised. So he's that's why he's saying he's surprised, he's feeling confused, and then he's saying, so what is happening, why is this happening, we think, right, sometimes. So Arjuna is also feeling the same way. He knows this is the supreme lord, but he wants to understand the purpose behind this powerful vision. Okay, see here. See, Arjuna in great fear, he asks two questions. What are those questions? Who are you? What is your mission? Why Arjuna asked these questions? Arjuna knew Krishna as his friend and supreme personality of Godhead. See, but he got confused, but he was puzzled by various forms exhibited by Krishna. But when he saw that all the activities that are going on in the universal form of the Lord, he was puzzled and confused. So, in that confusion, he asks, though he knows that Krishna is his friend, he's the supreme personality of Godhead, in that confusion, he asks, who are you and what is your mission? So, let's see what that who are you is in the next class. Okay. So, from 32 onwards, we'll